Microphone wasn't on. Welcome everybody. Had the current project wrong, so I was just fixing that. So I am in fact knitting a very tiny pair of Converse sneakers. Baby booties, but they're not for a baby. I'm actually using these on a toy that I am making. Secret. But the pattern is called Little Converse. And I'll show you a picture of what it's actually going to look like. That's the pattern over on Ravelry. So you can see I'm casting on in white now. I'm doing very similar to the top picture there, except mine are going to be white, gray, and black. So I'm going to cast on 31 stitches for the sole. $29, $30, $31. Okay. Gonna need some markers for this. Okay. Knit 1, yarn over, place marker, knit 14. Should be 14, right? So knit 1, yarn over, marker, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 12, 13, 14, okay. Place marker, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, place another marker, knit 14, place marker, yarn over, knit 1, last stitch. Okay, first row done. Rows, every even numbered row, 2, 4, 6, 8, knit and make sure to knit the yarn overs through the back loop. Okay. So, knit 1, okay, that's a yarn over, so I'm going to knit it through the back loop. Slip the marker. Slip marker, That is a yarn over, so knit it through the back loop. That closes that increased stitch, so we don't get a hole there. Otherwise, the yarn over makes a hole like in lace. So they're using a yarn over here as an increase, not to deliberately make a hole. Which is why they have you... Who's the designer of this pattern? Natalie Blanchard. Natalie's got you basically doing a yarn over as an increase. I've just got the pattern on my iPad here, so I'm just reading it off of there. Obviously, since this is booties, I will be making 2. This is just the first one. Okay, last yarn over again through the back loop. And then knit the last stitch. Okay, that's row 2 done. I'm just going to tick these off as I go so I don't lose where I am in the pattern. 1, 2. All right, row 3. Knit 2, yarn over, slip marker, knit 14, so you start off by knitting the sole of the shoe, and I'm guessing we're knitting it flat and it's going to be sewn at some point. So I don't normally knit little things like this, baby things, or, you know, amigurumi. They're very fiddly. Okay, so knit 14, and then it's yarn over, knit 3, yarn over, knit 14. Slip marker, yarn over, knit 2. Okay, there's row 3. So we're increasing on each of these rows. We're adding in some stitches. So I'll go back row 4 again. I just knit across row 4, and on all the yarn overs, I'm going to knit them through the back loop. So knit 2, knit that yarn over through the back loop to close the hole. Couple people are watching. If you want, drop in the chat, say hi, let me know what you're working on. Three through the back loop for the yarn over. So I'm doing the smaller of the 2 sizes. There's 2 sizes in the pattern, and there's sort of a newborn to 6 months and then a 6 to 12. So I'm just doing the first size, the smaller size. I'm actually using 3.25 needles rather than the US size 4, which I think is a 3.5 that it calls for. So again, these aren't for an actual human baby. I'm making them for a toy. So I don't mind if they're a little small. In fact, that's probably better. Okay, that's row 4 done. Row 5. Knit 3. Yarn over, move the marker. Knit 14. See how this is going. So again, if you want to see what the little shoes I'm making will look like when they're finished, I've got a screenshot here. That's the pattern page on Ravelry. I'll put the link in the chat in case you want to make them yourself. It is a free pattern from Natalie Blanchard. And I'm doing mine in white, gray sides, and the tongue will be black. Yarn over, slip the marker, knit 14. And I'm just using some old 8-ply yarn that I had. I've got white. Actually, the white is wool, but the gray and the black that I'll switch to is some cheap acrylic I bought at the craft store. So nothing fancy for this project. Using up some scraps. Yarn over 1, 2, 3. Okay. Row 6 is to knit all the stitches, and again, knit the yarn overs through the back loop. So there's a yarn over. You can see it's like a hole. So if I just knit it like normal, I end up with a big hole there. I don't want that, so that's why I'm actually knitting it through the back loop of the stitch, and that closes it up so you don't end up with a hole. And obviously, since we're knitting every row on the sole here, that's why we're getting garter stitch, which is the same on both sides. Okay, slip the marker. Okay, there's a yarn over, so through the back loop. And then there's another one through the back loop. So there's 4 yarn overs each row. That's what the markers are marking for me, so I don't miss them. And I'm guessing what's happening is that we're going to be folding this, that the bit between the 2 markers is the toe and the other sides are going to fold back. That's my prediction. I've not knitted this particular pattern before. And it goes without saying, I have not done a gauge swatch. Okay. That is row 6 done. Okay, row 7. So it's knit 4. Yep, to the marker, yarn over. So again, a yarn over is something newbies often do by accident. It means to put the wool in the wrong place. So normally when you knit, the working wool is coming off the back. That means the side of the needles away from your body. But if the wool comes between the needles in front, then when you go to make a stitch, you're actually creating an extra loop there. You see how it makes an extra loop on the needle? That's the yarn over. So to do the yarn over, all I do is I move it between the needles to the front. And then when I make my next stitch, it's actually created an extra loop on the needle. So now I knit 14. That's all a yarn over is moving the working wool between the needles to the front or to the back, depending. Well, actually, if you're doing purl, you go over. I'll show you. I'm sure I'll have one. I'll show you a yarn over on the purl side, I'm sure. Yarn over. 1, 2. Yarn over. Knit 14. Yarn over. Oh wait, do I just slip? Yeah, slip the marker, yarn over. Knit 4. That was row 7. And row 8. Last of this section, and then it changes up a bit. So again, I knit across all the stitches, and when I get to those yarn overs, so there's one there, it's a hole, I knit it through the back loop. What am I listening to today? No, I'm not enjoying this one today. Let's switch it up. Yeah. Go something a little more chill. Okay, there's a yarn over again, so I knit it through the back. Okay, that was row 8. If I look at the pattern here, so row 8 is done. The next step, say 6 to 12 months only. We're not doing that size, so we can skip that. Go on to row 11. It says purl, keeping the 2 markers at center, removing the other 2, knitting the first and the last stitch. Hi, Rusty Dove. Good morning to you. Well, must be morning. You must be in the US. I'm in Germany. It's afternoon here. So knit the first and last stitch and purl all those in between. So remember, my wool's at the back, so to purl, I need it to be in the front. So I'm going to move it between the needles. Call that a yarn forward. Okay, and it said I can remove that marker. Will this method of increase work with, oh, hi, Woban. Rusty asked, will this method of increase work with stockinette stitch? Yes, absolutely. In fact, when I do, I'm trying to think now, when I do a stockinette increase, what do I normally do? Yeah, you can absolutely do it, and it's going to completely hide in garter stitch. In stockinette stitch, it's still pretty unnoticeable. Let me think, how do I actually do an increase? In stockinette stitch, I usually do a knit one through the back and then through the front, I think. But yeah, you can absolutely do it on stocking stitch as well. We'll try it. When I get to a section of stocking stitch, I'll try it out and we'll see what it looks like. Woven, what is on the needle today? Well, it's this. I am knitting a pair of little Converse. No, I am not having a baby. I am making a toy, and I want a pair of little sneakers for this doll I'm making. Trust me, it's a secret. All will be revealed eventually. But I was looking online on Amazon to see if I could find a pair to just buy and like American Girl style. But I couldn't find any that were like weren't gonna have to come from China and take forever to get here. So I'm knitting a pair. So I'm knitting similar to that top picture there, but mine are gonna be gray, black, and white. Oh, actually, no. So what I normally do on stocking stitch, actually, it is what I do, Rusty. It is exactly the increase I use on. So normally if this were stocking stitch, what I do is instead of making a yarn over and then on the next row knitting it, I actually pick up the bar between the two stitches. So see between these two stitches here, if you pick up that bar and put it on the needle, it's almost exactly as if it were a yarn over on the previous row, and then I knit that through the back loop. So that is exactly how I do an increase. Yeah, lifted increase. Is that what it's called? My brain isn't working today, but that's what I do on stockinette stitch is lift the bar up onto the left-hand needle, which effectively is like making it a yarn over on the previous row, and then knit that through the back loop. Okay, moving those markers. You didn't got a hole. You must not have knitted it through the back loop, because that twists it and closes it. Could have been. So like if I do it here, like if I pick it up, and that's the other thing, you could have picked it up through the wrong direction as well. So if I pick it up from back to front and then knit it, yes, I will absolutely get a hole. You've got to pick it up and pick it up from front to back with the left tip. So that then when you, and it's kind of hard to actually get the needle tip in through that back leg. Then when you knit it, see the bottom stitch makes like an X. Let me see if I can change the camera so you can see a little better. There we go. Let me do that again. So if I pick it up and I just knit it normally, I get a hole. If I pick it up with my needle from back to front and knit it, even through I get a hole. But if I pick it up like this, so that the left needle goes from the front side to the back, and then I'm going to knit through that back loop. And it's actually kind of hard. I used to have to use my finger to kind of push the needle tip in there. And then when I knit that, you see that bottom stitch is actually closed. It's twisted. It's got like an X there at the bottom of it, and there's no hole. So that's it. You were probably just picking it up the wrong direction. Easy to do, super easy to do. The more you knit, the more you get a feel for how the stitches are meant to look on the needle, and you understand which of the two legs is supposed to be at the front. No worries. Glad we sorted it out. Come back on iPad, don't go to sleep. Okay, and then it told me to knit the first and the last stitch. Got it. Okay. That was row 11. 12 through 16, knit all. What are you both working on? Oh, this is interesting. I'm getting because I did a purl row, that means I'm getting a one row of stocking stitch in here. Interesting. I wonder what that's going to be for. The lifted is using the stitch from the previous. Okay. So if you were going to do the lifted one, you'd knit into that stitch. So let's do some, we're talking increases. This is fun. Let me go back to my close-up camera. So I'm happen to be on stocking stitch right now. So my normal stocking stitch increase is to pick up that bar and knit through the back loop. And if you want to be super fancy, Rusty, I have actually deliberately done it so that like if I needed to do an increase, knit a stitch increase, I'll actually mirror them. So I'll do one normally. So pick it up, knit it, knit the stitch, and then I will actually deliberately do the other one, twist it the other way so that they match, so that they're symmetrical. That's, you know, super advanced pro tip there. And I don't know that anyone other than me would ever even know I had done that. So you can also do knit front and back. So knit into the front of the stitch and then knit into the back of the same stitch. That does give you a horizontal bar. So you wouldn't necessarily want to do that in stocking stitch. You will be able to see it. And the one Woven is talking about, the lifted, is where instead I start by knitting into the stitch under the one on the needle, I believe. And then I knit into the one on the needle. So I've created two, but I don't have that little horizontal bar that I get with the knit front and back. So that's actually a nice one for stocking stitch. I just don't usually use that one. Good tip. You're working on the coverlet. And that's the one in the yarn that you're testing for someone, isn't it? Yep. Oh, what is that? A split. Look at that. This yarn had a split the yarn at one point there. You know what? It is a shoe for a monkey. I don't care. When I sew it up, I'll fix that bit. But if I were doing this for an actual child, I would probably go back and fix that because that looks kind of crap. Where I've clearly, if you can see it, yeah, there it is. I've got like a loop there. Crocheting a flower puddles blanket. I'll have to look that up. I did start a vest for Rod last weekend, so I've actually got that on the needles behind me as well. Cables. I just felt like doing something different. Okay, that was row 12. You all in Australia are having daylight savings, like now, Woven, so you won't be so far in the future from me. Instead of being, because we had it last weekend, so it's only 9 hours, but from tomorrow, it will only be 8 hours. Time difference to Australia. No, the rule is spring forward, fall back. So in Australia, the clock it's going into autumn, so the clock falls backwards an hour. So you get an extra hour of sleep. And we lost an hour last weekend. So our clocks are moving towards each other, and then the other half of the year they move away from each other. All right, that was row 13. I bet that's a turn line or something, that bit of stockinette, that sort of one row of purl that they had me do. I'm going to be folding it there or something. It's always fun knitting these little things. I mean, fiddly, but fun, because you actually don't, it's hard to visualize what the hell it's actually going to look like. Okay, that's row 14. Yeah. Oh no, Rusty. Got all the stitches back on the needles. I need to learn how to type without my hands. Oh, you lost some stitches there? I'm sorry. Feel your pain. I think I get how this is. I know how this works. I have knitted one similar pair of booties, not this exact pattern, but a similar pair many years ago. It's good for you to know you can overcome these mishaps. Yeah, I mean, I used to work many, many years ago in a knitting shop, and people would be terrified of making mistakes. There's row 15 done. But actually, by making mistakes and recovering from them, that's the only way you actually learn how to recover from them, is to actually make some mistakes. So then you can learn how to fix them. I think this is pretty much the last row of the sole here. Row six, well, not really 16, because I didn't do the steps for the larger size. Did they pop off the needle, or did you break a cable or something? Yeah, I'm talking to you when you need to knit and make sure all your stitches are sorted out the right way, so I won't. Yeah. It's a real pain. And that's where making sure they're not twisted on the needle is important as well. Like, it's stupid, but I envision them as little men sitting on the needle. Like they're like it's a girder, and they're construction workers and they're straddling the needle. And so each guy, as he's facing the end of the needle, his right leg is in front. You know, you don't. Actually, I guess that makes that doesn't tell you anything because it could have been twisted that way. Yeah, so that I just know that way is wrong and that way is correct. You want, yeah, it's, I can't even explain it. You just get a feel for it. Like for me, it's very obvious that, yeah, the little man is facing the wrong direction, but I can't explain it any better. They fell off. Oh, while you were moving to the keyboard. You can tell. That's good. That's a very good sign. Then you can just fix them as you come to them. Like if you know what a stitch looks like on the needle, then dropping them is not a problem. Yeah, normally if I end up like several slide off, it's just important, get them on whichever way is easiest, and then you can deal with each one as you come to it. Like I don't bother trying to like sort them out as I'm getting them on the needle. It's just like keep them from unraveling. Okay, row 16 done. Cut the white yarn. Where are those scissors gone? Leaving an 8 to 10 inch tail. You will be using that tail to sew under the foot. Okay, we'll leave a nice long tail. Switch to black and knit 2 rows. Fun. So this is the black I bought at a German craft store last weekend. Yeah, fun fact, because we're still in lockdown and everything's closed, I actually had to, like, you can only shop, there's no way I'm going to find a center out of that. I'll just go for the outside. Here we go. You have to make an appointment. So I went to I just rocked up to the craft store and I was like, ooh, I don't have an appointment. Are there any? And she's like, you have to wait 20 minutes. So I had to like wait 20 minutes to get into the craft store to buy a crappy ball of acrylic. Fun. 2 rows of black. Okay, 2 rows of black coming up. Oh, I haven't knitted in acrylic so long. It feels so gross. So obviously that first stitch wants to pull out, so you saw what I did. I just very gently sort of tightened it up afterwards. There is online shopping. I could have, but I didn't want to wait to get it delivered, and plus postage. Like, this is, you know, the craft store is like a 15-minute bike ride for me, so I went there. Plus, I'm in the house all the time, woman. I need to get some fresh air. Plus, what I saw online was expensive. It's much cheaper just go to the craft store. I needed some other bits and pieces too for this particular little special project. Yeah, the craft store, they do have online shopping. They do. It just would have taken several days to get to me, and it was last Saturday. And I was actually debating. I was going to order online, and I thought, you know what? No, let's just pop in. I mean, the 20 minutes I had to wait, fortunately, there happened to be a discount fabric store nearby, and they did not have appointments needed. You could just go in as long as there were less than 4 people in the store. So I managed to pick up a couple scraps of fabric that I needed as well. So I didn't actually have to stand around the whole 20 minutes, but it was nice to get everything in one go and have it ready. Okay, 2 rows of black. Oh good, this is the wrong side anyway, so that stupid pulled out loop, I don't care. It's going to be on the inside of the booty anyway. Haha, perfect. Okay, there's my 2 rows of black done, and like again, that last stitch, I'll just make it and then kind of tighten it up. Cut the black yarn. It doesn't tell me to leave a long tail. I'll just leave sort of a normalish tail. With right, okay, this is an interesting step. With right side facing, slip 17 stitches from the left stitch needle to the right needle, leaving 2 stitches before the marker. All right, 17. So 1. This next step actually has pictures on what I need to do. "17, 2 stitches before the marker." That's what they said. Yep. Then pull the needle to put the stitches on the cord and put the circular needle aside. Yeah, what? So that's left stitch. Oh, okay. It's so basically I'm going to be working on the center stitches and leaving these, and it's having me set them on the thing and use this. I can. What's the point of this? I don't have any DPNs with me. I'll use another 3.25. I'll use a bamboo so I don't get confused. Or what do I got? What do I got? How about you, Greenie? In white, knit the next 13 stitches. Okay. Back to my white. Don't need the black. This is where I guess this shoe is going from 2-dimensional to 3-dimensional. Yeah, now put the needles to the side. Exactly. I'm like, what am I doing? I guess that's why they put pictures on this bit. This is, you know what it is. That's the side of the foot. This is the top of the foot, and that's the other side. So it's having me switch to sort of going 3-dimensional here. Knit the next 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's the top of the foot. Pull the left needle containing the rest of the black stitches, transferring them onto the cord of your circling. All right. So basically, so if I fold it now, you can see this is how it's going to look. You can see those are the sides of the shoe. So those bits fold underneath. That's the side of the shoe, and right here where I am is sort of the top tongue of the shoe. I know, 3-dimensional stuff is crazy. All right. Now, okay, so now I'm knitting the toe cap. That's what I'm knitting of the shoe right now. The toe cap in white. So with the green needle I've got here, I'm going to be knitting the toe cap of the shoe. So with wrong side facing, slip 4 stitches with yarn in front, knit 5 and turn. So slip 4 stitches with yarn in front. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Put the yarn behind. That is so weird. Knit 5 stitches. That I've never done anything like that before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what it looks like after 5 stitches. Mine looks like the picture, yes. And turn. All right, this is where you just gotta trust the designer and put yourself in their hands. Oh, this is so annoying with all these ends hanging. Okay, slip one purlwise, knit 5, and turn. So let me tick off which one. That was that one. Slip one purlwise, knit 6. I'm essentially doing short rows across the toe of a baby sneaker. And turn. Back to the right side. Slip one purlwise, whoops. Slip one purlwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Turn. Cable on this green needle is annoying. DPNs would probably be easier. I just didn't bring any to Germany because who uses DPNs? Slip one purlwise, knit 8, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. And turn. 8. Turn. Slip one purlwise. Knit 7, 6, 7, knit 2 together, and turn. I'm actually making a rounded toe on this baby's booty. This is crazy. All right. Short row rounded toe on a baby sneaker booty. My hat is off to you, Natalia Blanchard. Slip one purlwise, knit 7. Knit 2 together through the back loop. So 2 together through the back loop and turn. Repeat those last 2 rows until all the stitches are knitted. So I only have to do it one more time. Or 2 more times. Turn it around. Okay, slip yarn as if to purl. Oh, this green cable is annoying the crap out of me. Repeat the last 2 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. 7. Knit 2 together. Cool. Turn. Slip one purlwise. Knit across. and knit 2 together through the back loop. Okay, and that is the toe of the sneaker. Okay, time to switch to the tongue. All right, I'm not using red for the tongue, I'm using black for my tongue. So I'm gonna cut the white. Maybe I will tie those white ones off together, just to keep them out of my way. Okay. Black, back to black. All right, tongue. Knit 2. Knit 2, yarn over. So moved it between the needles. Knit 5. Yarn over, knit 2. Okay. So it says slip 1 purlwise, knit 1, purl through the back loop, all right, if I must, purl 5, I guess that's closing that yarn over, isn't it? Yeah. Yep. Purl 2. Okay, so I'm knitting the tongue of the shoe now. So you can see now that this is the front of the shoe. So that's the toe of the shoe. So slip 1 purlwise, knit 10. I hate this green needle. Let me get a different needle. Find one that isn't annoying. There we go. Because I can't stand it. So I'm just going to switch away from the green needle. Let's switch on to a different Addy. So slip 1 purlwise, knit 10. Be gone, green monster. Oh, I hate that needle. Why do I have needles that I hate? Ooh. Okay. Okay, that's better. Slip 1 purlwise, knit 1, purl 7. It's actually the tongue has, because you're knitting the last 2 stitches, it's a stocking stitch tongue with garter stitch edges, because why not be really over the top for a baby's booty. All right, so I've done those 2 rows once. So it's telling me to do those 2 rows 8 times. So we've done them once. Slip 1 purlwise, knit 1. So I'm also doing a slip stitch at the edge as well. Some nice details on this pattern, you know, a freebie pattern for baby booties. Some really nice little details on this. And the fact that it's got images, actually quite helpful too. That's twice I've done those 2. So slip as if to purl. So I can get some more light on this. Didn't really make much of a difference, did it? Slip as if to purl, knit 1, it's 3. Oh, good. It's working out for you, Rusty. I'm glad. I'm glad. Okay, I don't know if you can tell, but on this tongue here, yes, I'm getting a little bit of garter stitch along the edges, and then the top of the tongue is stocking stitch. A nice little touch. Times. So you just joined. I am knitting a pair of Converse style baby booties. They're called, the pattern is a free pattern on Ravelry called Little Converse. That's what it looks like there. I'll put the URL in the chat if you missed it. And so you see the picture on the top. I'm basically doing that. I'm doing very similar, except my tongues will be black. And that's actually the bit I'm working on right now. So you start by knitting the sole of the shoe, and then you sort of divide it into 3, as you can see I've got here. And I'm working on the tongue now, which is the center part. Okay, I've done that 5 times. I turn it around You can see we're gonna end up sort of folding it that way. Oh, it's looking cute. This is gonna be cute. Six. So we're supposed to be doing these 2 rows 8 times. So I'm at 6. So nearly done. Nearly done. Oh, what am I doing? Front side, knit all the stitches. Okay, that's 7 times. Last time. So slip 1 purlwise, knit across. And then the last 2 stitches knit. Okay, that is 8 times. Oh, no, I change. That's for the top of the tongue. On the right side, so the right side, remember, is the side that's the outside of the garment, so the outside of the shoe. Slip 1 purlwise. Oh, and then it's having me switch to garter stitch just for the last 6 rows. So I slip 1 purlwise, but then I just knit all the stitches. And the reason it has you do that, as some of you who've been knitting would know, is because stockinette stitch, where you knit on one side and purl on the other, it curls. The top and bottom will sort of curl towards the purl side, and the sides will curl in as well. Or no, the top and bottom will curl towards the knit side, is that right? Yes, they'll curl towards the knit side, but the sides will curl towards the purl side. It basically curls up on you. And there's not really anything you can do to make it not. It's not a question of blocking it. All you can really do, it has to do with the difference in tension between knit stitches and purl stitches. So because we don't want the top of our tongue of our shoe here to curl forward, it's having me do 6 rows of garter stitch. And garter stitch lies flat. It's one of the advantages. So garter stitch is what we had at the bottom of the shoe as well, where you knit every row. You get sort of a bumpy texture, but it's the same on both sides. Okay, that's it's telling me to do these 2 rows, 3 times. So I've done them twice now. Okay, that's 3 times. Bind off. Okay. So this is interesting. It's telling me to bind off using a technique I've never used before, folks. So this is going to be fun. We're going to be using, I believe it's called Judy's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off. It's a reverse yarn over technique for the bind off. And so there's a YouTube video linked in the pattern. It was from Knitty, so I also looked up the article on how to do it. But we're going to try it right now. Why don't we try it? So, all right. So to bind off, you do a reverse yarn over between each stitch except the first and before the last. All right. Slip 1 purlwise. Yep. Knit 1. Sure. Pass slip stitch over, so that's just normal. You process 2 stitches, you lift the left one over the right one. Reverse yarn over, knit 1. So normally for a yarn over now, I'd move my yarn between the needles to do a yarn over. To do a reverse yarn over, I actually take the wool around the needles the other way. So I'm going over the top and then to the back. So now I knit a stitch, and then I pass both of those over the stitch on the needle. Okay, sure. So reverse yarn over, knit 1, pass both of those over the stitch I've just made. And supposedly this is meant to be super stretchy. The Knitty post says it's actually even stretchier than Elizabeth Zimmerman's famous sewn cast off. So it's not Judy. What's it called? It's called, let me just, reverse yarn over technique. If you click the YouTube link, it's Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off. And oh yeah, I've got the, that's actually the Knitty.com article that shows you how to do it. Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off. So that's what, look, probably overkill given, as I said, these are not actually for human feet. They're for a toy, but whatever. New technique to me. That's fun. So reverse yarn overs. Never knowingly done a reverse yarn over, but do that until the last stitch. And then you don't do a yarn over before the last one. And then I can cut it. Surprisingly stretchy. Woo! All right. The tongue should now look like this. Yes, I have the top of a shoe and a tongue. How exciting. Sides. You might want to switch to the bigger needles here. I'm not going to bother. This shoe is for a sock monkey. Don't care. All right. Arrange the black stitches side by side on one needle as you will be knitting both sides at the same time. I think that's saying I'm going to be going across. I see. There we go. I'm just pushing them around. Yep. Ah, crap. Beginning of the first row is to the side, right side. Oh yeah, that's where I am. I'm there. Beginning of the first row is here. Knit all. So I'm using the gray for this. Let me get my gray. Again, crappy acrylic yarn, basic acrylic. Okay, we start by knitting all the black stitches. I thought I would be knitting each side individually, but they have me do them at the same time, and that way I don't have to sew up the back of the shoe, which is good. There's the end of one, so I just go straight across to the next set, and I'll tighten that up in a second. So I do a few, and then I'll just go and I'll pull on those tails to tighten up. Yarn snobs. I'm not real. Look, I knitted many acrylic things when I started out. Actually, I knitted a whole bunch of Harry Potter scarves out of acrylic. And truth be told, some the Twista I bought, that gradient yarn cake has acrylic. Like sometimes it's nice. I like a cotton acrylic. It keeps it from being too heavy. But honestly, this yarn, this merino compared to it though, is you know, I get itchy. So a little bit of a snob. But for a toy, there's no way I'm using scraps, but there's no way I was buying actual wool for a toy. Slip one, purlwise, purl the last stitch. No, I don't want to, yarn shame anybody. You use what you can get access to, really. I know in a lot of parts of the world, all you have is a big box craft store, and they're not carrying any fancy indie dyed stuff, so. I just found the acrylic scarves I did. You have to be very careful. If you get any heat near them, they just go limp like a noodle. It just destroys the body, basically melts them. Okay, purl to the last stitch. If I bought wool for this cloak, it would cost $2. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. Some stuff wool is cost prohibitive. and knit the last stitch. Okay, so that's those two. I'm not doing the 6 to 12 months, so I can skip that bit. Continue for both sizes. With right side facing, cast on 2 stitches. Right, I see. Doing a cable style. So I'm actually going to do like I'm doing a cast on. So I'm going a cable cast on. So my needle's going between the first 2 stitches on the needle. I pull a loop out and then put it on. So I'm going to do that twice. So creating 2 stitches. And I'm actually, hang on a second, not twisting them correctly. There we go. So cast on 2. Now we'll be going back and forth over 3 stitches in order to create a slope along each side. What is going on? All right. Knit 2, SKP, turn. And this is where the pattern had a note on SKP that it means slip purlwise, knit 1, pass over. Learning lots of new techniques on this project. All right, so knit 2, so those are the 2 stitches I just casted on. SKP, so slip it purlwise, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over, turn. Right? That's what it said. SKP. Slip purlwise, knit 1, and pass over. Okay. Let's see what are you doing here, Natalia? Turn. Slip 1 purlwise, knit 2, turn. That's row 5 and 6. Yeah, that's a cable cast on. Instead of knitting into the stitch, normally when you cast on, you knit in, you make the loop. You do that for the first one, but then every other one, you just go between the last 2 stitches. It just looks nice. I think, is that called cable? Cable cast on, yep. After you've done things for a while, can you do it at the end of the row? No, you can only do it at the start of a row. So I think, yeah, so then basically it has me do it on this one side and then it's going to have me go, and then I think when I come back to the other side, I'll do it at the start. You can only do it at the start of a row. So if you need to cast on stitches at the end of a row, really all you can do is like a backwards loop cast on. Or you turn around to go back the other direction and add them on as a starting point. If you're knitting flat. Okay, slip 1 purlwise. Right. Knit 1. Slip as if to purl. Knit 1. Pass slip stitch over. This is interesting what we're doing here. I have no idea what this is doing. Is it doing like a tiny I-cord? I don't think so, is it? So slip 1 purlwise, knit 1, slip as if to purl, knit 1, pass slip stitch over. So I'm getting kind of an interesting decrease thing going on the side. Huh? Meh. now I do it one more time and then I knit to the end of the row. So slip one purlwise, knit one, SKP, knit to end of row. And so that's why then it's going to have me do the whole thing again going the other direction. So I'll be casting on at the start of the next row. It almost looks like, it's kind of cool. I don't know how to describe that. It almost looks like a bit of crochet. Okay, knit to the end of the row. Okay. Now we will do that same slip for the other side. All right, I think I just hear my washing machine beeping at me. So just give me a moment. I'm gonna go refill my water bottle and turn the washing machine off because it's really annoying. I'll be right back. Look, I made a handy sign and everything. Isn't that convenient? Okay. I will do the same slope for the other side. So here's what we have. With wrong side facing, cast on 2 stitches. So again, doing it at the side. Do you do it? I've never done one on the purl side. I only ever do it on the knit side. I'm assuming you do, actually. Look, I'm just gonna do it knitwise. So I've cast on those 2. Yep. All right. Knit 2. Purl 2 together. Turn. So I'm just going over and over the last 3 stitches. Slip 1 purlwise, knit 2 together, turn. Slip 1 purlwise, knit 1, purl 2 together. What was your next question? Rusty, can one, yeah. So they saw that this pattern had me do it at the start of a row knit to the end, and then do it again at the start of the next row. So slip one purlwise, knit two, turn. Oh, if I can do it on purls? Yeah, I did it on the knits, and I think it looks fine. You can't, it doesn't really matter. I just did it on the knits. I did it as a knit-wise, I guess. Slip one purlwise. One, purl two together, turn, slip one purlwise, purl two together, purl to last 3 stitches. Learning a lot of technique on this. Purl to last 3. Wait, stop. Slip one purlwise, knit 2. Okay. Eyelet pattern. I guess that means we're at the part where you can run your shoelaces through. I'm guessing we're going to do some yarn overs on purpose. Okay, eyelet row. Slip one purlwise, knit 1. SKP, so that was slip as if to purl, knit 1, pass slip stitch over. Yarn over, normal yarn over, knit into last 4 stitches. To last 4 stitches, yarn over, knit 2 together. So it's pairing a decrease and a yarn over, so that because we don't want to make extra stitches. You always, when we're adding a stitch with a yarn over, and then we immediately do a decrease, so the overall number of stitches stays the same. Otherwise our piece would get wider whenever we did a buttonhole. Knit 2. That's really kind of cool, that effect there. I've never seen that sort of effect before. It's almost like a kind of a cast off across those stitches. It looks really cool. Slip one purlwise, knit 1. Slip one purlwise, Okay, and then there's my yarn over, but I'm not twisting to close it. I want to keep the yarn over because that's what I'm going to thread my shoelace through. So purl until 3 stitches are left. Cool, it must mean I'm getting to the end here. Purl until, okay, there's my yarn over. I purl that. 3 stitches are left. Slip 1 purlwise, knit 2. Okay. See, we've got 1 eyelet hole there for shoelace. Okay. Slip 1 purlwise, knit 1. It's SKP, so slip purlwise, knit the next stitch, pass the slip stitch over, knit until 4 stitches are left, sometimes you have a pattern where you just have to do what it says and trust. Famously, there's one called the Baby Surprise Jacket by Elizabeth Zimmerman, where you just knit this weird thing, this weird piece, and you're like, what am I even doing? It doesn't look anything like a jacket. And you knit this weirdly shaped thing, and then you finish it and you fold it in a particular way, and somehow it's a jacket, and then you just sew up the shoulder seams. And it's like a real trip. Oh. Sit up straight. Knit until 4 stitches are left. Knit 2 together. Knit 2. So we are decreasing each of these every now and then as well. Okay, so there's our little eyelet. Sweet. Turn. All right. Slip 1 purlwise, knit 1. Slip 1, knit 2. It says do the eyelet pattern a total of 2 times, but do not do row 4 on the last repeat. But that only gave me 1 hole. And when I look at the picture, It's got 3 holes. So I think it means to do it 2 more times. We'll just not the end of the world. All right, back to that. Slip 1, knit 1, SKP, yarn over. Knit until 4 stitches are left, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 2. It's interesting, it's almost like you get a double row. That's so cool. I like that. Purl until 3 stitches are left, slip 1 purlwise, knit 2. SKP. Do together and knit 2. Interesting. It says you can repeat 3 times instead of 2 times, which I guess implies that it's repeat 2 times. I guess it's do I do it a total of 3 times or 4 times? But it sort of implies I only do 2, and I don't think you want to do only 2. I suspect also the pattern might not have been written originally in English. I'm not sure. It comes in different languages, so maybe there was a translation. But I'm going to do it a 3rd time. This is the last of the 2nd repeat, so until 3 stitches are left. Okay. So there's the side of my shoe with two eyelets, and so we'll do one more time. So slip one, knit one, slip as if to purl, knit one, pass slip stitch over. So that's the SKP, yarn over. So there's our third eyelet. I'm going for 3 eyelets. I'm not going to do 4. I'm not going to do a full-on boot. Come on in. Coffee delivery for me. Thank you. Last 4 stitches. Yarn over. Knit 2 together. Knit 2. That was a rare snook siding. Slip one purlwise, knit one, purl to the last 3 stitches. Slip one purlwise, knit 2. Okay, you don't do the 4th row. This is the 3rd row, so I don't do the 4th row. Okay, slip one purlwise. Hang on, looking at the wrong row. SKP, so slip as if to purl, knit, pass that slip stitch over. That's this SKP, knit until 4 stitches remain. Knit 2 together, knit 2. Okay, I do not do row 4 of the eyelet pattern. Okay? Ooh, so then you can really see what we've got. That's the side of the shoe. How cute is that? That's really adorable. Wrong side. All right, and so we're at the top of the shoe, so it's gonna have me switch to garter stitch, similar to at the top of the tongue, just to keep it from curling on us. So it's got me doing knit to the end. one purlwise, knit to the end. And wrong side. Slip one purlwise, knit to end. Okay. And again, for the bind off, I'm going to be using Jenny's, what do they call it? A surprisingly stretchy bind off, which is a new one to me. But so it was, let me go back up to where she explains how to do it. So slip one purlwise, knit one, pass the slip stitch over. Okay, now we do the reverse yarn over. So normally for a yarn over, I would go between the needles like that. Instead, we're going to go over the needle. Knit one stitch, and then I'm going to pass both of those over the stitch I've just made. Reverse yarn over. It's kind of fun. Reverse yarn over before each stitch. Reverse yarn over. Might be more important if this was actually going to go on a baby's leg, given it's going on a soft toy. It's not so critical, but I thought I might as well learn it. You got your needles safely put so you can watch? Yeah, so again, between each stitch on this cast off, you do a yarn over, but you do a yarn over the wrong way. So instead of going around between the needles, you go over between the needles. Then you knit the next stitch and lift both of those over. So again, reverse yarn over, knit one, lift both over. Reverse yarn over, knit one, lift both over. Reverse yarn over, knit one, lift both over. So it's on Knitty, and there's a YouTube video linked in the pattern as well. But It's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. So you do it until you get to the last stitch, and then you don't do it before the last stitch. The last stitch is just a knit as normal. Pass slip stitch over. And then we break off. And technically, I believe that is the knitting done on the booty. All right, so your sides should look like this, folded in half. Hey, look, it's a little sneaker. How cute. It does make a pretty edge too. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that is surprisingly stretchy for a cast off. I am gonna remember that and use that, especially at like necklines and the edges of socks, toe up socks. That looks like a super useful technique. Cool. When she explains how to make shoelaces, whatever, I'll figure that out. All right, finishing. Enter the 10,000 yarns. Well, at least she's got a sense of humor about it. Let me have a sip of coffee while I have a look here at how I actually put this together. I usually start by entering the yarns besides the toes. Beside the toes. I knit 2 to 3 stitches on the inside of the white toes. See, this is where I think this pattern has been translated from another language. I mean, it's really well written pattern, I will say that. It's just, it reads as if it's not quite native English. Oh, you will have made only 2 eyelets, but we'll start by pulling the lace through the bottom of the... so I've made 3. I've done the boot version. Oh well, I don't care. So that was the confusion I had over how many times to repeat the eyelet section. There you go. En français. So Natalie here is French. But it's an amazing pattern. Okay. Well, time to weave in some ends, huh? Where is my weaving in needle? Hang on. Just making sure I'm not stirring my needles, getting them all mixed up. I keep my circulars in, because there's no convenient way to do this. So usually my circulars, I've got them in these sort of Ziploc bags and I label them with the size, which works great until you accidentally put the wrong size in a bag. And I'm pretty sure both of these needles here are 3.25. Let me just make sure. Yep. Yeah, okay. Just so I don't get myself too mixed up. That's what I'm looking for, it should be. It's my favorite. That's the one I like. I like the one with the bent tip. well, I can at least weave in the tongue. I know that's where that goes. Oh, dark yarn. My eyesight, you guys. Gonna do real, I'm not gonna be super precious about it because it's going on a toy and I'm gonna sew it onto the foot, so it's not like it's gonna experience a lot of wear and tear, so I just need to fasten off the ends. And that gray I can fasten off as well. Normally I would be much neater about this, but like I said, it's only going on a toy. Let's turn it inside out. That's better. Make sure you place the tongue behind the sides. Right. Go ahead and do these black ones as well. It says to use the soft seam technique to sew under the foot. I'm guessing that is French for mattress stitch. So that white will, I mean, that's my long tail, so that's actually, yeah, that's actually for sewing up the bottom of the foot, isn't it? Yeah. I can do that now. I mean, for a real baby, they'd be walking on it, I guess. Well, not a newborn. But I guess you want the seam to be fairly soft for a person, but given that it's for a toy, I don't care. So I'm just gonna sort of take one from each side. Take a bump from each edge, from one edge, match it up with a bump from the other edge. And I continue along the bottom. For a toy, not doing as nice a finish as I would if it were for an actual baby. Chem Man, I made a pair of biker boot Christmas stockings for a friend and his wife. It's so warm and comfy. I was wondering how, because like a stocking that did not have a flat sole. Yeah! Yeah, seam down the bottom of the foot would not necessarily be comfortable for a human being, but for a soft toy that I'm making, it's gonna be fine. Plus I'm gonna stuff it anyway, so. There we go. What does it actually look like if I turn it right? Look, it's fine. All right, and then I'll just weave it back in along the edge. A biker boot stocking. That's fun. So they actually wore them. That's hilarious. What a cool, do you have a picture of them? I'd love to see. I've never seen a biker boot stocking pattern. I have some family members that I reckon would probably like that. I've not knitted any Christmas stockings. That's interesting. So it's not knitted as just a big sock then, presumably, which is what I would have expected. Okay. And that one can get woven in as well. So for the laces, she does a sort of twisted thing. I'm actually thinking of just doing a crochet chain. Yes, I would love to see them on Ravelry. Please do. And then I will friend you on Ravelry. Sort of a funny bit at the back of the heel there. What have I done? It's fine. Chemman Knits. What? Those are so cool. Those are amazing. And they have zips up the back? That is wicked. Wow, proper hardware. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Harnesses and like harness boots. That's neat. Chemman Knits. There you go. Sent you a friend request. Super cool. Thanks. There's a funny little blip. I'm not sure why. I think it was when I sewed it up. I don't care. It's for a toy. Don't care. Okay, what's left? Got those two white edges there, white ends. Got a black and I got a gray. And so she's got some complicated because the idea is the tongue needs to kind of go, I'll turn it right side out. The tongue needs to go, oh my God, you guys, this is so cute. The tongue needs to go kind of underneath a bit. So the sides go kind of over. Oh my God, it's so cute. I love it. Well, they'd be badass socks too. I mean, as those biker socks. Okay. I don't need to be too precious about this. Let's weave the black in. They almost look leather in the photo, Kim, man. That's the amazing part. Like, they look really cool. Okay, just these last two ends to go. So what I believe she's saying I do with this photo here is to kind of use the end to kind of sew the tongue kind of behind the top of the sides a little bit. That's my reading of that. So it kind of goes, oh, I see. So she's actually going through the white. And then going through a bit of the black. I see. Well, it's just red in her case, but it kind of means the tongue kind of stays behind a little bit. With the white bump showing through the black line. Got it. I see, leaving rest of tongue free. That makes sense once you're actually doing it. And then leave the rest of the tongue free. Sure. And then just do this little side and sure, why not? That looks good. Okay. If I turn that right side out, oh, that is pretty good. And if I get Mr. Sock Monkey here, Sock Monkey, say hello. Hello. And I put his foot in there. And then once I have it laced up, so what I need to do is I need to put some stuffing in the foot to just keep the shape, because obviously he doesn't have a real foot. He just got a stump. So I will sort of, plus I'm going to sew it onto him as well. But I will put some stuffing in the front there just to build out and round it out and make it look like a real actual foot. Sweet! Wow, that was really great. One down, one to go. How long have I been going? 2 hours. I guess I should finish my coffee before it gets cold. Great. Well, one down, one to go. Thanks for joining me today. This was super fun. I'm going to go ahead and I'll probably go down and watch some Netflix while I do the other one. But hopefully I'll come back tomorrow probably, because we have a 4-day weekend and the weather is crap and I don't think we're going to be doing anything. So I'll probably be here around the same time tomorrow, if not a little bit earlier. And I'll be working on some more stuff as part of this project. So I could put a piece of cardstock in the bottom. That is a brilliant idea, Kim Man. I will do that. I will absolutely do that to give it a little bit more shape. Thanks for the suggestion. If you have any other ideas, feel free to hit me up. I'm on Twitter at web_goddess. Or give me a follow, and I'll see you tomorrow. So thanks a lot, everybody. See ya.